There we go.
There you are. There's that mustache. How's it going, buddy?
can't,
Oh,
can't fake that.
um, my name is Joe. Thank you so much for speaking with me. Sorry about the time zone confusion. Here in Arizona, they don't do uh, they don't do daylight savings. So half
Daylight
the year
savings,
we're
yeah.
on PST, the other half we're on Mountain Standard. But again, thanks for talking to me, man. I'm really excited to talk about Digging to Death. I want to know if you've seen it yet because I watched it, but I didn't know if you've seen it yourself before I.
Yes, I have. Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
So here's my question. The your a lot of your character is, or I should say, a lot of the film is based around the main character. So your
Right.
character is in the scenes that focus on your character, but were you aware of the rest of the film, the rest of the script, or did you only shoot your scenes without the full context?
Oh no, I had read the complete script going in, so I had a sense of what was going to happen. But that's one of the things that I really enjoy about the film is that uh, the it's so unexpected. Uh, the way that the lead character responds to all the different people, whether they're helpful, unhelpful, whether he even has an idea of what they're going to do, and that I thought was very exciting, and the fact that in the end everything is sort of left up in the air. You have no idea what will happen next.
Right. Yeah, and I think that the lead actor did a great job of that manic kind of losing it, and like you said, the way he interacted differently with each different relationship that he had with the people. Now your character's name was uh, I'm sorry, I literally just finished watching the movie. Was it Arnold or I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm afraid I can't help you there because I just came back from an audition where the character's name was Howard, but I have a feeling that, and it's something like I said, maybe it's Harold. It begins with an H. That's all I can remember.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull it up just so I know. It's Alan Palms. So okay, now I remember. So I wanted to know. I don't want to give too many spoilers, but I wanted to know if the scene in which your character is physically involved, if that was entirely with you, or if there was like a dummy involved, and how those effects were portrayed.
For the most part, it was me. I know they had a stand in there, but the thing was that the day we shot all of my scenes, all three scenes, it was raining incredibly hard, and we were up to our butts in mud, and so it was real. All was real. So rather than make somebody else, get into that, there wasn't anything that I couldn't do. So I pretty much did everything, but they may have used somebody to sweeten it a little bit at some point.
How extensively did like you work with the makeup team to get I know you said like all the mud is real, but there, were scenes where there was blood on your character. Was that like a short process, or was that something that took a while?
It was they were really good about what they did it, but they wanted they wanted it to be uh, an effective splash, and so I think they went ahead and did as much as they needed to do. There wasn't any holding back.
Nice, nice. So I wanted to know, what did you think? What did you think of the movie, having seen the whole thing? Like, I know you said that you really liked the way that the lead actor um, the lead actor interacted with the characters, but do you feel like you portrayed the character that you were playing in the way that you meant to?
Well, I think so. This guy is a landscape guy, and he's just trying to get his job done as easily as he can, and he certainly runs into crazies all the time, and so it's just okay. I'm coming in. can I drop off the gravel and stuff today, and then I'll get the work done later. You're going to need to put a septic tank here. Oh, you're going to do it yourself? Sure. Okay, anytime. And you just, just keep me away from it.
Right. Yeah. I knew, from the first scene with your character, I kind of had an idea of how things were going to play out and what was going to happen with your character next. I wanted to ask, I know that you always star in so many projects, but I mean, you're a great character actor. I wanted to know if there was any trouble for you to continue shooting during the pandemic, because on the IMDb, you've still been releasing projects regularly, showing up in a lot of different things over the last few years, even despite COVID. So I was curious, how do you go about still going through those things and not really hitting pause during the pandemic?
Well, it's difficult. The last regular job that I did was in February of 2020, the end of February. I was supposed to do something in March, and it got postponed indefinitely, as it turns out. And so from March until last Sunday, I was never in front of a camera. And I had no work. Now I had friends that were working. I have a friend that is a writer and producer on Station 19, and they did 18 episodes of that. And the first job that I did on Sunday was one scene in a little movie, lovely little movie, but it was, the whole thing was I had to get tested the day before I went in. I was tested when I arrived on the set. I was wearing a mask the whole time, except when we actually were shooting. And it's very strange. And even things like getting a soft drink from craft service, you can't just go and get it. You go to craft service, and the person that's running it say, "What would you like?" And I have to get it for you, and then they pass it on to you. And lots of hand washing, all that's going on. And it adds to the time. It adds to all the other stuff that you need to do, and is somewhat distracting in terms of creating a character and doing it. But eventually it becomes like anything else. It becomes part of the process. And so, yeah, I'm glad they're doing it, but I wish they could move it a little quicker so I can start working again.
Yeah, well, luckily with scheduling and stuff, things move around, and voice acting seems to be something that hasn't really slowed down too much because of how things can be done from home. And you've done voice acting in the past, and I think the most memorable character you've done was in Legend of Korra.
Yeah.
So is that something that you would be open to, voice acting? Or
I'm definitely open to it, but I don't have the equipment to do it. A friend of mine has been doing dubbing on foreign films, and just again a year ago, February, I went in and laid down some various tracks to see if I could work out on that. And he said, "Okay, good. We think we'll have some stuff coming up for you." And then didn't hear anything. And then I got a call from his casting person saying, "We'd like to have you do some of this. Do you have this equipment at home?" And I said, "No." I said, "I'm sorry. We can only use people that have that equipment." So yeah, I haven't been able to do any of that because Korra, for instance, we shot in the studio, and
so with things lifting, and I know that there are other Avatar based projects in the works. If you were to return to the character and reprise your character, is there a certain way that you hope that they would explore that, or something else to an arc for your character that you'd like to see?
The thing was is that I had done some voice stuff before. I remember doing Home on the Range, which was a Disney feature, and I went in and spent like about 4 or 5 hours the first day, laid down all the tracks that my character would say in the course of the movie. And then I made the foolish remark saying, so when is this coming out? And they said, oh, about 5 years, and you'll be back about every 6 months to do additional stuff, and we're using this as a guiding track, to start, to deal with some of the animation. And about the second year, I came in, and there was this guy standing right in front, because they videotape it all, at least at Disney. And there's a guy standing right in front of me, besides the camera, and they said, "Oh, this is the person who is going to animate your character. This is and I said, "Oh, wow, that's great." And sure enough, I mean, I kept laying stuff down until a week before I think the movie came out, and but you're by yourself in that case. And so when I went to work on the Legend of Korra, I kind of thought, oh, I'll go in with it, and there it's a much more exciting and visceral process, because they try and get as many of the characters into the studio as possible. Now, even though you can't look and direct stuff to the other characters, they're in there with you, and you get to have that energy, and you're actually responding immediately to what they're saying and the way they're saying it. And I thought that was just remarkable. I'd love if we could do more. Unfortunately, they sort of pulled the plug after 4 seasons, and it doesn't look like it's going to come back. But that was a great experience. I had such a good time working on that.
That's awesome. And I don't want to keep you forever, but is there anything else that you would like to plug or mention before I let you wrap? I always like to give people kind of a platform to talk about anything that maybe people don't ask about, or any projects you have coming up or hoping to work with.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. There's a feature that's been finding its way around streaming platforms in the past year or so, called Faith-Based, which I really enjoyed working on. It was the same people that I did Fear Inc. with, and it was a great group. There's another one that they just premiered it in Atlanta, and it looks like it's going to begin working its way through through various streaming platforms, called Moon Manor, and it's a different kind of movie. It's about a guy that with Alzheimer's, who wants to have his funeral while he still can recognize who the people are and what they're saying, and it's really a lovely film. And at this point, though, I haven't been working since February, so I don't have anything coming up really.
You said that's called Faith-Based?
Faith-Based, yes.
So
Yeah.
do you play the character who has Alzheimer's?
No, that one is called Moon Manor. I play his brother, who is a preacher, and he's going to have this funeral party. He calls it a funeral, and at the end of which he's going to have an assisted suicide, because he doesn't want to deal with losing everything like that. And I come to try and convince him he can't do that. And so that's sort of the tension there.
Well, I love that. My grandfather went through Alzheimer's, so I've gone through, I've been close to that. I was wondering if you've been, you have worked on so many things. Do you have any experiences that you kind of pulled from, as far as health-wise, going through somebody you're close with health-wise?
Oh, sure. I spent a couple of years with my mother toward the end, and that's that she was dealing with that.
Do you feel that that helped you pull and put that into your performance with Moon Hunter? What is it called? The Alzheimer's film?
Yeah, Moon Manor.
Moon Manor, yeah. Do you feel like you pulled from any of that kind of experience?
Yes, of course. And as an actor, you're constantly taking everything in, and you know, and trying to remember it, and trying to see exactly how things happen in reality. You know, again, it's like doing those scenes in the mud. I mean, if we had had to fake that, it would never have been the same.
Yeah, that's true. Your face is so like when people see your face, it's like, oh, I've seen that guy in everything. Like I said, you're a character actor, and jumping to conclusions meme is huge. So people always say, oh, he's from Office Space. But when people like recognize you on the streets, I imagine it happens all the time. Do they ask you like, wow, I know you from something? Or are they like, oh, you're the Office Space guy? Or is there something specific that you're known for?
Well, about, again, gosh, it's almost 10 years ago now. I was doing a play on Broadway in New York, and so you're on the street all the time, and people usually don't talk to you, or you know, but you can get a sense that there's something's going on, and sometimes you can overhear their conversations. And so for about a week, I decided I was going to do a non-scientific survey of what, you know, what people were responding to. And at that time I was doing Grounded for Life. And so it was about a 50-50 Office Space and Grounded for Life. But then there was a large group that had whatever was playing on late night cable. You know, so whether it was Joe Dirt or The Fugitive or whatever, that's the guy from. And there was a fairly good sized group that said, oh, that's the guy that no, he was my teacher in 6th grade, or that's the guy that works at the bodega down the street. And so that was amusing as well. I mean, there's a lot of sense that people think they know who you are, and you know, and are trying to respond to that, but they can't quite place where they know you from.